Well, this is something a little bit special. This is a piece of American airgun history. This is a Daisy model number 118 Target Special BB pistol. Now, these were first made in 1937, and this was the very first BB pistol made in America. They were produced right up until about 1952. There was a break during the Second World War, but this is very definitely an early one. I'll let it come round. I'll stop it there. It has a fixed rear sight. Now, the later ones had the sight mounted on the back here, and it was adjustable. So this one was made between 1937 and 1940. So it is a really early one, which is fantastic. Now, I got this from a UK auction site that does just... It's an auction site for just weapons, basically. So it does rifles and shotguns, vintage pistols, air guns, this kind of thing. And I saw this on there, and it was a sealed bid auction. I put a bid in, and I was very lucky to win it. Now, these pistols were also marketed under the name Targeteer, and that is possibly the more common name, as in Daisy Model 118 Targeteer. But we'll have a look at the roll stamp on this one in a minute, and you will see quite clearly that this one is marked as a Daisy Model 118 Target Special. Now, they work in almost exactly the same way as the Daisy BB rifles. It's got a spring inside it, it's got a shock tube and an air tube, and it's cocked in a completely different way to the rifles, but other than that, very, very similar mechanism. Now, there is something a little bit unusual about these pistols. The 118 in the name is significant because that actually stands for 0.118 of an inch, which was the diameter of the BBs that was used as ammunition in this gun, and that is a very, very unusual size. In fact, Daisy made their own ammunition for this pistol. So we'll close in on it and we'll have a closer look. Okay, here you can see the roll stamp, and it very clearly says Daisy number 118 Target Special. Underneath it says caliber 0.118 and various patent pending, and if we roll it round a little bit further, you can see the Daisy Manufacturing Company, Plymouth, Michigan, USA. So that's the roll stamp. Now, this pistol does cock and fire, and I'll show you how that works in a minute. It has got some issues. I think the spring has been replaced with a stronger spring because it's very difficult to cock. These guns were designed to be shot indoors, and as such were extremely low power. You know, the idea was that 6 to 10 feet was the range, and it wouldn't even put a hole in a piece of paper past 10 feet. It was that weak, but it was designed that way on purpose so that they were safe to be used indoors. So let's have a look at it, and I'll show you exactly how it operates. Okay, this is the muzzle end, and like many of the Daisy BB rifles, it has a removable shot tube, and this is where you load the BBs. Little hole underneath the base of the muzzle, and basically you rotate the shot tube, if I get it the right way, and a hole should appear. I'm going the wrong way. There we go. Right, so a hole appears, and that's where you drop the BBs in. And this barrel shroud here holds the BBs much like a Daisy BB rifle does. Now, there are some issues with this particular pistol, and I'm going to explain what those are in a minute. But let's show you how this thing actually cocks. So the idea is, certainly in all the videos I've seen of these being demonstrated, that this part of the receiver, the slide, you can pull it back against the spring. That's what these perforations are for here. You pull it back and that will cock the gun. Now, the spring in here is so strong that I cannot physically pull that back far enough to get it to cock. So what we'll do is we'll push it muzzle down onto the bench and we'll cock it that way. that's the point at which it cocks. Now you slide this forward so you can see it, and the gun is ready to fire. It's very unimpressive. I'll put the mic near it when I actually fire it. That's it. Okay, so the calibre of the ammunition in this gun is 0.118 of an inch, which is almost exactly 3mm. So for the purposes of demonstration, I'm going to use a 3mm ball bearing to show you the difference. So if we close in on this, this is a standard 4.5mm BB. Let's compare that to a 3mm one. There you go. As you can see, it's absolutely tiny. There's the standard BB, that's the 3mm one, which is near as damn it 0.118. So yeah, as you can see, much smaller. And given the incredibly low power of the gun, you know, that's not going to do any damage to anything, basically, if it hits it. So, issues. Well, there's really only one as far as I can see, and that's at the muzzle end. We'll close in and we'll have a look. So here we are at the shot tube, and this is the front of the muzzle, and this is the shot tube, is the little tiny tube that you can see there. Now when I rotate this ring, what should happen is that the shot tube should rotate as well as this ring, and therefore it will then unscrew from where it locates in the barrel shroud at the back here, at the back down this end. But it's not. What's happening is this little ring has come loose and it's not rotating the shot tube. So that needs to be fixed, because obviously I need to be able to get the shot tube out and also tighten it up when I screw it back in, which at the moment I can't do. So I'm going to hopefully very gently persuade the shot tube to come out and then work out a way of reattaching it to this ring. Well, fortunately the shot tube did come out without too much persuasion, which is nice, and there's some interesting things about the shot tube, so we'll close in and have a look at that. Well, the first thing that's interesting is the shot tube does actually appear to be a piece of solid tube, a piece of brass tube. Normally on daisies they're rolled out, or certainly on the rifles, they are rolled out of a piece of tin plate and they have a seam down them, but this one seems to be a piece of solid brass tube, which is great. You can see it has the same kind of little flute on it which guides the BBs that will obviously be surrounding this. It guides them down this chute and into the breech, which is that little hole there which you can just see. And this is the part that screws into the receiver. Now obviously what's wrong with this is that this is loose. It can slide up and down on the shot tube, and it's not fixed, so that needs to be fixed to the shot tube. So what I'll probably do is take this off completely and clean it all up, and hopefully I'll be able to solder it. As the shot tube is brass, I should be able to solder it back onto the shot tube. You don't have to tighten this up very much, you just have to nip it up. I'll also clean the shot tube and see whether we can get a BB to roll down it and so forth. And I'll come back when I've done that. Well, success on the shot tube and the cap front. I was able to reattach it, and I can now unscrew this and screw it back in again and freely remove the shot tube. So that's all good. That's sorted. Now, I found a really good video online where a guy was restoring an old rusty crusty one of these. And it looks like it's fairly simple to remove the slide, and that allows you access to the spring and obviously the piston and the seal. And basically all you have to do is take out this screw and this rivet, and then this little tiny back piece will pop out and you can pull the entire slide off, and that allows you access to the parts, the spring and the piston and the seal, most importantly. So we're going to have a go at doing that. Well, that all came apart remarkably easy. So here you can see all the major components. The spring seems to be in good condition. It's not, you know, twisted or anything. The rivet that came out of here, which goes through this part of the slide, that's quite badly bent, so replace that with a new one. The piston and I'll pull that out of there. There we go. That's the air tube. There is the leather cup seal, which is quite badly worn and ideally it needs to be replaced. I don't know whether I've got anything that would replace that. I'd have to have a look But yeah, that really does need to be replaced. But the rest of it, absolutely fine. It all looks pretty good actually. So I will get on and do what needs to be done and put it back together. Well, here it is all reassembled. I didn't really gain a lot by stripping it down, although it was nice to see the internals. The seal's definitely knackered, but there's not really an awful lot I can do about that, as it's a leather cup seal. I don't have anything like remotely like that, so I've oiled it up. Hopefully that will improve it a little bit, and I know the diameter, so I'm going to have to go and have a look, see if I can find a leather cup seal online that will do as a replacement for the one that's in there. But it is very easy to take it apart, and we did have the success with the shot tube and the shot tube disc and reattaching the two, so I can now take the shot tube in and out, which is great. Well, I thought before we leave the lovely little Daisy 118 Target Special, we'll do a little bit of shooting with it. Now, I'm going to be obviously a lot closer than I would normally be. I'm approximately 8 feet away from this Splat shoot and see target. So I've already shot a few BBs through it, and I know that the gun shoots incredibly high, so I'm going to have to aim quite low. I don't know whether it's actually going to make any marks on this target, because I was using an ordinary paper target before, and it makes the smallest of little dents, but we will see. So let's give it a go. Oh, it does show up. Amazing. Let's try again. Ball! Oh, bloody hell, amazing. Absolutely incredible. Now, of course, what you don't know is I'm actually aiming about an inch below the target, so you can't even see where I'm aiming because I'm aiming so low. But it's all right windage wise. I'm aiming central, left to right, so just above the ball. Okay, let's give it another one. Where'd that one go? That was just below. We'll give it one more. Oh yeah, no, not too bad at all. Well, we've just got to try a tin can. I don't even know that I can hit it, but we'll give it a go. My God, I'm astonished. Well, it didn't punch a hole in it, but it did move it, and it put a fairly impressive dent in it. So I'm just absolutely astonished. Let's try again. Yes! Well, that is not bad for one of the weakest BB pistols on the planet. That's pretty amazing. Well, I was impressed with that. For this pistol, which has got almost no power whatsoever, it's incredibly weak. And these little tiny BBs didn't do too bad. Let's have a close look at the target. Now, bear in mind, I was aiming quite low. Let's pull back out. To get those in the middle, I was aiming about here. So it is shooting very, very high. But left to right, pretty good, really. Pretty good. I mean, that's not bad at all. I mean, obviously the ball was a fluke, but you know, I do get flukes occasionally. So yeah, pretty good. Let's have a look at the tin can. Now again, it didn't punch holes in it, but then I wasn't really expecting it to. I wasn't even expecting it to knock the can down. That was amazing. But there you can see the two dents, quite significant dents it put in the little red ball can. So yeah, you can knock cans down with it. Amazing. So that'll be about it, I think, for the rather lovely Daisy Model 118 Target Special. As always, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and thank you very much for watching. Cheers.